discussion.
Yeah,
I
but
love
people
it.
are going to hop on. They're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
I'll introduce you.
Let's
They'll
do
know
it.
what you do and how you do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's rad, man. No, it's like a cool setup too. Yeah, it's a cool setup because this office is like I can imagine it being like crazy big.
All right, we got people out there. All right, guys, you're live again with Chris and Lee, but we got a special guest in the house today, Josh Garcia. Josh Garcia, tell them what you do.
What's happening, guys? I'm a licensed realtor for the past better part of a decade. Recently stepped my toes into more of the investment space, trying to take over the world one property at a time, and learning and failing all at the same time, and partnering with people like Chris so that we can do that a little bit better.
Yeah. So, guys,
essentially,
don't forget, load up the chat box with your questions, comments, concerns. We usually give you loan and financing advice, but we can actually get real estate advice today. He can tell the ins and outs about negotiating a deal. He can tell you what markets are hot. He can tell you what you shouldn't do when you're placing offers, because I know everyone's looking for the best deal, but the problem with that is if you put in the wrong kind of offer, what happens?
when you put in the wrong kind of offer, well, it all starts with communication. If you put in the wrong offer, you're essentially going to get a situation where you don't way undervalue. That's not necessarily the issue. The issue becomes when you don't understand the needs and wants of the seller, because the reason why we even have jobs is that we're bridging people together.
Okay.
So if we don't bridge that gap in some facet and find out the pain points essentially, then we find ourselves in sort of a limbo situation.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
what we always tell people is follow the advice of your expert, okay? When it comes to the loan side, I'm your expert advisor. When it comes to the real estate side, buying and selling, he's your expert advisor. So does that mean that you absolutely have to do that? And the answer is no. I always recommend the guidance, but the answer is no. And here's where I mean that. So on my side, if I say, hey guys, here's the rates. Here's your sheet. It starts at 5, it ends at 7. I'm going to recommend you lock here, and here's the reason why, and I'll give them an explanation. But I always say, you're the boss. You're the boss. Wherever you want to end up locking, that's on you. Whatever loan type you want to go with, that's on you. What fits you and your family. Now, when it comes to the real estate side and negotiating the deal, that's a little different. It's a little different because he could say, hey guys, don't ask for any credit on this one. Don't ask for anyone because it's in a hot market. There's been tons of offers. I've been talking to the other agent. The other agent said they got 40 offers on this house.
Right.
A little unrealistic in this market, but you know what's going on that side. Give more detail on that.
So, yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, I mean, it's going to come down to property condition. It's going to come down to what they already have in hand at this point. I mean, especially at this point in the year, we literally we see this sort of stalemate that comes down with the holidays coming around, especially this year with election season. It's one of those things where the market sort of kind of tends to slow down in terms of inventory, in terms of people that are motivated to sell, and also in terms of people that are willing to negotiate. At the end of the day, everybody wants to, especially if the sellers are contingent upon a sale closing, they're gonna want to defer certain negotiations. They're gonna want to go ahead and defer timelines. So that's something that as we get closer to the end of the year, we're gonna see a lot more of that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it may be a pain point that we can go ahead and kind of negotiate from there, but it's always going to be something where this time of year, it slows down 1,000%. Agents are probably not going to be getting back to you, and at the end of the day, it's just something it's another obstacle that we have to overcome because it's like that whole thing when it comes to like getting a gym membership at the end of the year, or the beginning of the year rather. It's like everybody puts it off, and then the beginning of the year,
get fit.
Yeah, everybody's like, I'm gonna get buff at the end of the year, So it's one of those things where it's like if we recognize the season that we're in, then we can kind of work our way, from there.
Okay. Hey guys, don't forget, load up that chat box. Ask us all the questions, comments, concerns about your scenario. Give us your exact scenario because if we can pin down your scenario, you're going to be on the right track to buying a house or selling a house or whatever the case is. And guys, today's special. The reason why today's special is because we got a real estate expert in the house.
Let's go, guys.
Ask your questions about buying, selling. What should you do? What should you not do? If you thought about listing your house, if you thought about putting it on the market, you know, what condition should it be in? Hey, we got a guest star in the house. What condition should it be in? You know, ask all those questions.
Yeah.
So today we have Ash Kang in the house. What kind of loan should I get for land I own and want to build a house? Well, there's one specific one that you could do. It's a one-time construction. So what that means is you already own the land. All you have to do is get the financing to build the house on top of it. Okay, it's very easy to do in theory. The truth is, for most, they can't pull it off because you need a little bit of extra cash to do it, which means you have to be able to carry your whole life that you're living right now while you're paying a small mortgage on the money that you're borrowing to build the house. So it's a one-time construction, Ash Kang. It's a one-time construction. Very popular throughout the nation. You can use all the loans. You can go VA, USDA, conventional, FHA, any of those programs. And here's the kicker. You don't need the best credit, guys. You can start at 620 to start in one of those programs. Absolutely. So, guys, don't forget, load up that chat box. Let me know what your thoughts are about buying and selling in today's markets.
That's actually a really good question too, because a lot of people, especially like up in the high desert, they're you know you have these large swaths of land, and you know they're only getting more expensive. But a lot of people they're getting the ratios of what it takes to buy a piece of land, which is normally minimal, and then build upon it. And I think a lot of people would be surprised at the fact that it might be more beneficial to do something like that versus, you know, going new construction, because obviously they jack up the rates and the and you know the interest and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
It's kind of crazy.
And it's harder to do.
And it's harder to do. It's way harder to do because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I don't think people really they don't associate that one would be easier than the other.
Yep, exactly. So, like, I'll give you a for instance of what he's talking about, okay? So, if you wanted to build your own house and you got a construction loan, there's certain criteria that you have to meet to be able to get that cash. And then you have to hit these certain timelines, which you do on a one-time construction, too. The difference is we use traditional financing when you do a one-time construction, which means if you're VA, what's the down payment? Zero. So, you get to buy this house with zero down. Construction loan may ask you for a little bit more money up front, better credit, some history of building, okay?
Right.
FHA, what's the down payment on FHA? 3.5%.
Right.
So that the barrier to entry is much lower when you're doing a one-time construction, and you hit it on the head. We have a place right up the hill, about 30 minutes from here, called the High Desert, which is Victorville, Hesperia, Apple Valley, Adelanto, Lucerne Valley, and they have these huge pieces of land.
I mean, it's absolutely massive. I mean, there's so much up there, and not only over there, but like, you know, everybody kind of associates it with that. But I mean, we're seeing here in, you know, Moreno Valley, we're seeing in the better part of Riverside County. There's so much land. When people tell you that, you know, oh, the cities are being, you know, overpopulated, there is so much. I mean, take a plane anywhere and you see how much goddamn land there is out there. It's absolutely insane.
Well, it always trips me out because you'll see, like, especially at the top of the hill, what's that place called? Right at the top when you get to the top of the Cajon Pass? Oak Hills.
Oak Hills, yeah.
Okay, so when you get to Oak Hills and you just drive a little bit off the freeway, there's like these mansions.
Oh, yeah.
Huge homes on big lots, and then there's like all this space between, and then a big home, beautiful lot, and then all this space between, and they're all custom.
Yeah.
They're all custom. They're not cookie cutter. They're all their own little, you know, piece of people's thought and, you know, heart that was put into it. But someone owns that land in between.
Yeah.
So if they want to keep it, they can build their own house, or people can buy that piece of land and build a house of their dreams on top of it with the same terms: 3.5% down, 5% down, 0 down, VA.
Well,
same criteria.
And a lot of times too, especially in the high, I think that's why the high desert is literally like popping off like crazy right now. I mean, 10 years ago, I'm 36, but 10...
You're 36, man?
Yeah, 10...
Oh, dang, I thought you were way younger.
10, 12 years ago, what did they used to call Fontana?
Fontucky,
right? They thought it was
Why?
Why? Because it was out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And then the 210 got built, and so as the infrastructure goes and as the affordability kind of keeps on pushing a little bit more east, you're going to see these different possibilities and opportunities rather to go ahead and kind of, you know, exponentially, you know, go and grab yourself a piece of something.
Put him on your lap, man.
What's up, dude?
Introduce him. Who's this guy right here? Is he the next real estate whiz in the market?
So this is my son Elijah. He's the closer. Say what's up, guys. He got his cowboy boots on. He's ready to go. So I always.
He's gonna show you. He's gonna show you.
He's gonna show the boots.
Badass boots. Badass boots.
American
Love
flag
it.
boots. But yeah, what's your name?
Elijah.
Elijah, are you gonna sell houses or are you gonna do loans? Which one?
Look.
You're gonna do loans.
Hell yeah, give me a pound for that one. That's what I'm talking
I
about.
did not expect that.
Bring him
answer.
onto the team. Bring him on. Here's what's cool about our business, guys, is that we can do stuff like this.
Yeah.
This is why we love it, because we have the freedom to do all our own things and bring our family and involve them as well. Got a couple questions up here. Okay, who do we got? We have Joshua. Joshua said, no, not Joshua. We have Ash again. What do lenders need for a one-time construction, terms, etc.? How much do you need down? Okay. So it's the same thing when you buy a house. You need 2 years work history, you need your down payment, and your down payment's going to come from the program that you're going with. So if you're a veteran, you're probably going to use at VA, which is 0 down. Most people that buy houses right now are using FHA that are not veterans, which are 3.5% down. And then if you want to go conventional, or if you need to go conventional for specific reasons, you can get in for as little as 5% down. Now, your credit does have to be a little bit better when you're doing a one-time construction than if you're building or buying an existing property. So you need, I would say, a 620 minimum. 620 gets you into the party, okay? Anything better, of course, you can get opportunity at other loans, but at least a 620 minimum in order to start the barrier to entry. So 2 year work history, that's your down payment, and that's your credit score. So Ash, if you have more questions about it, go to the link in the bio. Our phone number's there. We can talk about it. Or you can go to the link that says apply for a home loan now and get the process started.
Sweet.
We got Joshua. Joshua says, thoughts on interest-based loans, and if they are morally right, sometimes paying double the cost of a loan. Okay, so thoughts are sometimes that's the only route you can go. Sometimes that's the only financing you can get. So when it comes to finance, Josh,
it's situation based technically. I mean, it depends on what you want it for. It depends on your specific financial situation as well, right? So not everybody is going to be able to access some of those programs that are able to, go ahead and maximize, what they're going to do. But definitely, it's going to be situation based.
Yeah, and in finance, there's no right and wrong, good and bad. It's what's appropriate for you and what's not appropriate for you. So if a person that's on a fixed income, 80, 70 years old, came with that scenario, I'd say that's probably not appropriate for you. Probably not. But if you're young, still making money, still going to grow in your career, and you have the ability to make more money and pay that debt, I said that's probably appropriate for you. So Josh, no good, bad, right, and wrong. It's like he said, situationally based, and it's what's appropriate and not appropriate.
You're not going to get a reverse mortgage when you're 30 years old.
You can't. You can't.
You know what I mean? It's like there's certain ways that stuff kind of folds into each other.
Exactly. John said, hey man, I have 20 G's. Should I get a house?
Ooh.
So John, here's the question. Are you renting? Are you renting? Because that landlord of yours is making all the equity, getting all the tax benefits, and they own the home. So if you are renting and you want to own a home, whether you have 20 grand, 10 grand, 50 grand, I say yes. If you really want to get out of paying someone else's mortgage.
Saying with his dad.
Dude, you're paying your dad's mortgage. He's ripping you off. I'm just kidding. But in that case, if you want to be a homeowner, 20 G's will get you a house. You don't have to spend it all. You don't have to buy a mansion, but it'll definitely get you on the right track. And I'll tell you right now that with $20,000, that'll cover your down payment and closing costs in most scenarios. Probably around a $300,000 house, my opinion, depending on how much you want to spend.
I was going to say, depending on the market that you're looking at.
Where are you, John? City and state. Let us know where you're at, my man. Joshua said, thank you for your thoughts. You're welcome, brother. You're welcome. Now, ask us some real estate questions, guys. If you're thinking about buying, thinking about selling, ask us some real estate questions because we have Josh here that can answer all the real estate criteria for you today.
Yep.
This is special. We don't normally do this, guys. This is something, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet Josh Garcia.
1,000%, guys. And I'm here in Southern California. I mean, I made my bones as an architecture major back in the day. So
you were smarty pants, too.
You know what?
Right.
My brain cells have kind of depleted since I was younger. But, I try to, inundate myself with the latest and greatest.
That's good, man.
How long after
get my first home, should I wait until I finance a new vehicle?
Oh, there you go. That's
what do you tell people?
So, I mean, you can, after you purchase a home, you basically have, I mean, in order to finance anything, it's going to take a hit on your record because you're going to go ahead and get that hard inquiry. I would recommend at least like 6 to 8 months afterwards to do anything major, just because, you know, you're taking on a new loan, you just got hit with a hard inquiry, all that good stuff. So, you know, going from that perspective, you don't want to, you know, inundate yourself with more financial liability than you possibly have to.
Agreed.
So I would say about 6 to 8 months after you do any major purchase, just to be safe, just to make sure that you're able to go ahead and not only, you know, afford what you're doing, but that way you don't absolutely rip your credit apart.
I agree. So here's what I say, Dario, your thought process is in the right direction. You want to buy that vehicle after you get into the home, because if you do it before, you could kill your opportunity at owning the home.
Oh my God!
How many times have you seen that?
Oh my God! I had one recently where
tell us about it.
We're literally at the closing table, and the guy makes a ton of money. That's not the issue, but it comes down to something called debt to income ratio, which I'm sure you can go ahead and let him know about. And it's basically the amount you make versus the amount of debt that you have, and that's predicated, or that literally dictates exactly what it is that you're able to afford for a house. So I've had multiple times where, you know, we're at the closing table and everything gets verified at the very end as well. And at the very end, I've had it multiple times, and one recently where the guy bought a freaking $100,000 truck. I mean, souped up Raptor. I mean, the thing was sweet, and he pulls in, and I'm looking at him going like, dude, what?
You didn't have that when we met.
I was like, is this like a family truck? I mean, like, what is this?
This is Dad's.
Yeah,
this better be Dad's.
Yeah, and he goes, oh no, I just bought this, and I lifted it. I bought the. I'm like, holy shit! And it literally skewed his debt to income ratio just enough to where he had to get a gift from his parents.
Oh no!
And he was not able to afford the home that he thought he was going to be able to afford.
Yeah, see guys, that happens a lot. So what happens is, like you just said, don't do it before you buy the house because it could wreck your deal. This situation he was able to salvage because you put a little bit of thought process into it, and we've been through it, so we know the moves that we can make to make a deal work still. But not everybody has that ability. Not everybody has $100 grand laying aside, $50 grand laying aside, or whatever the number may be in order to make the deal work. So Dario, good question. Buy the vehicle after. I say 6 months because if you've made 6 monthly payments, you know what that feels like, and you know what your excess income is after the process. Jenny, thank you for the advice. You should get a new tripod. It's shaking like crazy. That's all good. Henry, we got Fontucky in the house.
There we go.
Henry, do you remember when they were calling Fontana Funtucky? Do you remember that, when there was all that land available, when there was motorcycle gangs driving through
everybody switched up their tune real fast as soon as the Victoria Gardens got in there.
Oh, dude, the house went...
Oh, my God. The whole thing, dude. You know, Elijah. Sorry.
It's okay.
I got, you know what? What's her name? Jenny?
Jenny,
the reason why the tripod's shaking is because I think my son is on the other side and he keeps on.
He has his assistant in the house working very hard at the other end of the table, so it's shaking a little bit. He's got a whole lot of paperwork going on.
Apologies. Let me remedy the situation. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, so Henry, Funtucky in the house. Fontana was a great spot to buy. I would say probably 2010 and prior because the values were still very reasonable. But Fontana and Ranch Cucamonga, you can't get a house for probably under $1 million now, and Fontana's riding right on the coattails of that one. So Fontana, if you could have got in during those times, great buy. Those guys have a ton of equity, have a great position in property ownership, but today, very expensive. And Henry, you say, true, very expensive. Fontana came out of the gutter for sure. Fontana wasn't a very desired place to live probably before the year 2000. I mean, I lived there for a lot of years. I lived there for, I think, 10 years, and I love it. I loved Fontana. I love the location of North Fontana. I love all the opportunity for the great places to eat up and down foothills, so I love that place. But too expensive for a lot of people to get into. Guys, don't forget, load up that chat box with all your questions, comments, concerns about buying and selling real estate. Give us your exact scenarios, what you're running into. Give us what you're making, what your credit score is, how much you have saved, and we'll tell you if you can buy a house. See, here's the deal, guys. been watching this feed because you're entertained. I know Josh and I are extremely entertaining. I know when Lee and I were here, we're extremely entertaining, and you watch us just for the entertainment. But the truth is, you guys want to be homeowners. And if you're already homeowners, you're thinking about your next move. You're thinking about what if this, what if that, can I do this, can I do that? Don't wonder. Ask the questions.
Well, and I think one of the things that a lot of people try to do, and I mean, they try to time it, right? So everybody tries to time
that one gets me, man.
They try to time the market, and it ends up backfiring because it's like, look, I always say this: if you know where the crystal ball store is, point me in that direction.
Yep.
Because I would be.
We're not going to be sitting here doing this.
No, I'd be a millionaire 1,000 times over. At the end of the day, when it's right for you, it's right for you. But also, you got to know that the grass is not always greener, and you're not going to find that ideal situation. Mm-hmm. So that's why, when the rates, I mean, COVID threw a wrench in everything, mm-hmm. and we saw these insane interest rates that made absolutely no sense that we'll probably never see again in our lifetime. But you still had people in that period saying, well, I'm going to wait for the prices to go down. I'm going to wait for the rates to go down even more. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? You get in where you can fit in, and then you maneuver from there. But if if you never, yeah, exactly. If you never actually dip your toes in the water, you're gonna get left out in the cold.
Oh, that's the best saying, man. I love it, especially when you get in the jacuzzi in the winter.
Oh, jeez.
You can't just put your toes in.
Yeah.
So Henry, just so you know this guy right here, Josh Garcia. He services the Fontana area. So if you're thinking about buying or selling or just want some advice, you can call him one-on-one to get the deets on what's going on, because Henry just says that he owns 2 properties in Fontana. So we have an investor here.
Okay, so what's the question? We want to buy another investment property, cash flow, FICO. Where can I find that? Okay, I mean, it depends. So right now the rates are obviously a little up from where they were about a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. It depends on what you want to do with it, and what exactly you're looking for. You're looking for a single family, a condo. Obviously, it's going to have HOA issues, all that good stuff. But yeah, go ahead and shoot me a DM or a text message, and then we'll go ahead and we'll connect, and we'll see if we can't put some answers together for you.
Do me a favor, type in your phone number right there on that number pad.
Oh, let's do it.
So Josh is going to put his personal cell phone number there, guys. So if you want to reach him, you can call him, you can text him, and there it is right there. Under Lee Duran, the finance man, it says 626-252-8247. So if you guys have any questions about buying or selling in California, specifically what areas?
Specifically, I always say, as far as my car can drive, I'll be there. But for the most part, Inland Empire and Los Angeles counties. I do dabble in OC, but traffic's a nightmare, so I try to keep it as tight as possible.
Yeah, SoCal traffic ain't no joke, guys.
No, I literally deal with it every single day.
Yeah, there was someone up here who said they were in Carolina, I think. Where were they? Wilmington, North Carolina.
There you go.
How's the traffic there? Because here sucks.
It's probably non-existent, which would really piss me off.
Wilmington sounds like a busy area, though. You hear that often in the news.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every place has traffic now. Again, everything after COVID shifted so much, so everybody kind of got transplanted, and you have like cities, in like Idaho and all the destination spots that are now.
Yeah.
They're saying like,
Austin,
hey,
Texas.
They're saying, hey, stop coming here now.
Don't bring your California here.
Yeah.
Bullshit California.
Yeah. Keep it what it was.
Exactly. But that being said, we do help people finance in all 50 states. If you want to work specifically with Josh here in California, you can do that. If you want to get a home loan in any of the 50 states, and guess where else we finance now? Puerto Rico.
No way.
We can do 50 states and Puerto Rico.
Oh,
haven't done a Puerto Rican loan yet.
I was gonna say, what's the property value like in Puerto Rico?
Oh, dude, I actually priced them out not long ago, and you can get like a big house, like a 5-bedroom, 3-bath type of situation on a little lot, not a big lot, for about $300,000.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Pretty reasonable. I was actually
catch me in Puerto Rico in about 6 months.
You're gonna go to Puerto Rico?
No, I don't know. I mean, with $300,000 for a big lot,
shoot!
Let's go,
dude. You guys got to catch Josh in the next 3 months because he's moving.
I'm moving to Puerto Rico, guys. That's it.
So you got till February to buy a house with Josh.
I'm waiting until after hurricane season.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, hell yeah. When is hurricane season?
I don't know. I think it just passed.
All right, good. It's a good time to move. 3 months. So give me a good story about something that worked out, and give me a horror story. That way, these people don't replicate it.
Okay, so a good story is well, right now we have this I don't want to call it an issue, but it's a thing that we're dealing with in the real estate industry where there's not a lot of inventory.
Okay.
And you have obviously whenever you're selling a piece of property, you want to know where am I going to go from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big factor. So one of the things right now is that if you're a seller, it's definitely a seller's market. There's no inventory, and there's still people out there that are, they're realizing that the rates are never going to be as sexy as they were in COVID. So they're literally, they're ready to go, and they're ready to make the jump, as opposed to maybe like a year ago where there was like this stalemate between inventory and the amount of buyers that we had.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not the case anymore. So the sellers that I've been working with are doing fantastic. The days on market are a little extended, but everybody is getting their prices as long as you price it correctly. So that's one of those things
Big
where
deal.
if you are a seller, if you're somebody who has a ton of equity, you don't want to refinance and repackage your loan, you always thought about retiring, or maybe you thought that, I have too big of a house. I would say price your home correctly and go ahead and capitalize on that while the iron is hot. On the flip side, it relates more to buyers, because buyers have been getting left out in the cold left and right. We're still trying to make offers like it was, like if there was nothing on the market. But it's one of those things where you have to understand the situation. And so if you are a buyer and you're making offers, it has to be reasonable, because these properties are only going up, and you're literally going to get left out in the cold if you don't make sensible offers. And at the end of the day as well, I mean, I don't know if you guys have looked on Zillow, Redfin, but rents are still through the roof as well. So it's one of those things where it's never a perfect time. It just comes down to the fact that you got to make the best decision for you, and you got to understand that that it's going to be a stretch either way. But do you want to stretch yourself in this way or that way, point A or point B?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what he's saying, guys, is it's kind of like what he just said a second ago, which what I want to touch on. It's timing the market. If you want to, you get married, have a couple kids, you want to raise a family somewhere, and you want to have the school district's good for you, the markets are closed, the shopping is close, don't try to time the market. Because if you're going to try to time the market, like he said, you're going to get left out in the cold, okay? If you're trying to time the market, there's only two reasons. One, you're an investor. You're an investor, okay? So you're trying to get the best deal because you're trying to make a profit on that property. Two, you're a fix and flipper, okay? You want to get in and get out. Get in and get out. If you time the market, if you're a regular person trying to buy the house, and you're a hardworking plumber, or you're an Amazon worker, or any respectable job out there, you're doing that, and you're not focused in on real estate, buy the house if you can afford it. If you're pre-qualified for that amount, get in. If you're trying to avoid the market going down and going up and going down, it doesn't exist. I'll tell you right now, if you bought in 2006 at the top of the market, and you had that crash in 2008, and you rode it out to 2024, you have a ton of equity. A ton of equity today, okay? And if you try to time the market, what's going to happen is that you're going to watch the interest rates increase, and you're like, why aren't they coming down? You're going to see the values increase, and why aren't they coming down? Now, you may catch a correction. But you're going to catch that correction on an uptick, downtick. So I'll give you an example. This is the market today. It's still climbing, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to wait till the market gets better, and the market gets a little bit better. Look at that gap. You're still buying at a higher amount. So get in while you can. You're going to make your equity. And here's the best thing, guys. Like he said a second ago, rates are up a little bit. Rates are up a little bit from a month ago. Rates are up a lot of bit from 2021. But the Fed has already put out on their website that they're going to decrease interest rates through 2025 and 2026. So 2027, you're going to have the ability to refinance. So if you're getting today at a mortgage payment, whatever that number is, $4,000, $3,000, $2,000 a month, A couple of years from now, you're going to be able to refinance that and bring that payment down. Okay, that's using strategic financing moves. And here's the cool thing about it is there is no crystal ball. You can't predict what the market's going to do. But the Fed has already put on their website what they're going to do, which means you can actually kind of predict what the future looks like. T, the guy on the right looks younger. That's not leading around the finance, man. That's Josh Garcia, guys. We got the world famous, known in real estate entrepreneur Josh Garcia in the house.
The notorious.
Notorious. Dude, are you wanted?
I don't know. I mean,
because our address is out on the website, man. They know where this location is right now.
I'm gonna be honest with
you.
you.
And we're live.
I think I paid that ticket.
Ooh, man, they're gonna come get you for a parking ticket. Henry says he wants to downsize. It's just expensive as my home. Might as well stay. But he still wants to buy an investment property.
Well, no, okay, so that's actually a unique situation. So it's just as expensive. How much equity do you have? Because if the plan is to stay, that's not all bad. But why not double that? Why not expand that? Why not see if you can, if you haven't refied, if you have a ton of equity, no one's saying you have to sell, but there are business opportunities out there that you can go ahead and capitalize on, just because of the fact that the rates, again, they're not sexy, but there are options out there. That way you can go ahead and maximize that. So no one's saying that you can't hang on to your place, but why not double it? Why not triple it?
That's an opportunity.
Why not take some of that equity? Because that's tax free.
Yep.
Tax free loan.
So here's the cool thing, guys, is that like Henry. Okay, I don't recommend this for everyone, but Henry already owns 2 properties, which tells me he's a big boy. He's a big boy because he took the risk on another property. He's been able to make that mortgage payment. He was able to save that money to get in, because the second property, you have to put a lot more money down. You have to have better credit. You have to have reserves. So there's this extra layers of criteria you have to climb through in order to get a second home. So once you've done that and you've successfully done that for 6 months to a year, you understand what costs are going to come with owning that second home, and you're in a big boy game now. Now going to the third step, you're increasing your, what would that be? You're increasing your risk, I guess you can say, but all you're also doing is adding to your portfolio. So you got another asset that's going to be increasing in value and bringing you streams of income. So that's an opportunity that Henry can take advantage of, and there's different ways to access those funds. Dude, he said it's worth $780. He only owes $98K.
Dude, wow, Jesus.
Baller. Henry's a baller. Doing it all right.
That's a ton of equity. Henry, what's your interest rate right now?
That's a good question. So to access those funds, Henry, you can do a second mortgage, which is just accessing the funds for a 20, 30-year term. You can do a home equity line of credit, which is just accessing those funds for a 10 to 20-year term. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing about our HELOCs, here's what's cool, man, is that what happens is I send them a link. They fill out an application. It takes about 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. Inside of 2 minutes, if they're qualified, it gives them all these options.
That's awesome.
And it also lets them know the maximum amount of money they can access.
So it's like a calculator in and of itself? Or?
Yeah, literally it says option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
God.
You're like, oh, I like that one. Bink. And then like 5 days, boom, money in your account.
Oh my God, okay.
Badass.
Jesus.
Henry said he's a 3.5, man. Dude's got a 3.5. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. All right.
So in that scenario, I would do a HELOC.
Okay.
If you told me you had a 6 or a 7, you might want to do a cash out refi. But 3.5, you're getting a HELOC. No doubt about it. So Henry, if you're interested, reach out. Josh put his phone number up there if you want to just talk. Here's what's cool, guys, is that we're not the kind of guys who are like, sign this contract before we have a conversation.
No, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
I mean, even most listing appointments I go on, it's just a conversation. I don't even bring a contract with me. At the end of the day, it's a people business.
Just a conversation.
And all we're doing is trying to get you to not do anything, but trying to do what you want to do in the best possible way.
Yep. So here's what it's like, guys. So even getting pre-qualified, people are like, hey, if I do this, what's the commitment? How much does it cost? I'm saying getting pre-qualified just lets you know where you stand. It just lets you know where you stand. I can't make you buy a house. I can't say, no, buy a house. You have to. You just know where you stand. And if you like the terms, move forward. If you don't like where you stand, don't move forward. If you want to buy more, I'll make it work, and I'll tell you what you need to do. And then when you're ready, you talk to Josh.
And I always say, information is always free.
Yes, that's a big one. That's a big one. All right, let's see. We've got a few questions in here. Mrs. Gomez says she has a 1667 car payment. Damn, what are you driving? You got a Benz?
Hopefully it's a nice G-Wagon or something.
It's probably a freaking Raptor.
It's probably the Raptor.
It's probably that's Mrs. Gomez.
I was gonna say, is your husband's name Alejandro?
310 credit card, 640 FICO, 165 G's a year. We got ballers in the house. Could we still qualify? The answer is yes. At $165,000 a year, the $1,600 car payment, which is a huge car payment. What are you driving, Mrs. Gomez? We got to know what you're driving. Tell us what you're driving.
Send a picture, too.
Yeah,
I want to see
send a pic. So 640 FICO with that criteria, I can get you approved all day long. All day long. How much can she buy?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, with that, I mean, the 640 is not terrible. I mean, the credit card thing might be an issue, but...
Easy. I can tell you right now, easy, without even blinking, $500 to $600 grand. Easy. Right now. Could be more, because I have to iron out that income and figure out what it really is. I know you have an idea of what it is, but the way we calculate it's a little bit different, but I can say up to $600 grand, no problem. How much does refinancing cost? Okay, that's a great question. It's only closing costs, guys. That's all you're really paying for. Closing costs consist of third-party vendor fees, which are title, escrow, the notary public, the appraiser that comes out to figure out the value, which roughly about $2,200 to $3,000, depending on the total amount of fees. So just figure $2,000 to $3,000. That's how much the cost is. You can pay that. You can write a check for it, or we can include it in the refinancing. Most people include it in the refinancing. But if refinancing isn't the best bet for you, like I said a second ago, you can do a home equity line of credit, which is very popular right now, especially for those that have the 2 and 3% interest rates. So that's kind of a big deal. But back to Mrs. Gomez. City and state, where you at? And what kind of car are you driving, Mrs. Gomez? You got to let us know with that $1,600 car payment. I'm very interested in knowing. I'm very interested. What do you think it is?
I hope it's something cool, like a Raptor or like a G-Wagon. I mean, I don't know. Mrs. Gomez sounds like she would like have like a really cool truck.
It sounds like a plaid.
Ooh, like a Tesla.
Like a Tesla plaid.
Did you get a rebate for those things?
Do you?
I don't know. I mean, it's
a Fed rebate because
of the electric and all that. Yeah.
Maybe. It's 3 cars. Okay.
Okay. That makes so much more sense.
Dude, I was hoping for that freaking Rolls Royce or something.
I was gonna say
3 cars. Okay, Mrs. Gomez, we got it. 3 cars. All right. What else we got here? Henry said, "Perfect. Thank you for the advice." Got it. Virgo, thank you for the follow. Flynn, how much do you need saved up for an FHA? Do you really need 20% down?
Oh my God!
This is why these conversations are important, dude. I'm telling you.
You know what's funny is that it just proves so. Just like with the whole compensation thing with the real estate settlements and all that. We're in the ecosystem, so we get inundated with all the information.
Yeah.
But we don't realize how many other people don't have not the access to information. Everybody has that, but it's one of those things where it's like the lack of information is so prevalent.
Yeah.
And this 20% down thing is one of the major ones that I've been encountering more and more. And it's so crazy. No, you do not need 20% down. Not even close.
You don't. I can tell you right now because I am a licensed loan officer, 1066958, and I can tell you right now that you can get in for as little as 0. The most common is 3.5% down,
yep.
And then the one right behind that is 5% down.
Yep.
So 20% down, I would say probably 1 out of 20 loans I do is 20% down. The rest of them are 5 to 0, 0 to 5, somewhere in that range. You have to qualify for those programs, so you have to have a little bit better credit, but that's the case. Now, the 3.5, you know what the FICO score barrier is for that?
That's 580.
580, guys. 580 credit score, 3.5% down, and you're in your house. Mrs. Gomez, that's why I told you you're already qualified. We just got to dial it in and figure out how much.
And the real kicker is that if you really want to know the difference between 3.5%, 5% down, and 20% down on a monthly basis is a couple $100.
Couple $100.
Couple $100, literally. So why not keep that money in your pocket so that you can do the upgrades, so that you can, fill out the payment and all that good stuff.
Or have a security blanket.
Or have yeah.
Well, here's common. People come to me and they're kind of flexing. They're like, what if I put an extra 10 grand down?
It's like,
I'm like, you'll save $30 a month?
Yeah, you'll save $30 a month and you won't have that 10 grand.
Yeah,
1,000%.
literally.
And let your property work for you. It's gonna go ahead and it's gonna gain equity. And it comes down, again, it's one of those ratio things. It's an 80-20 ratio. So once it gets to that 20% or the 80% loan to value, you're going to be able to negotiate that with the bank in most cases. Again, it's not always a one-size-fits-all, but you have that option as opposed to throwing your life savings into this property, into the down payment, and it's like, I haven't even moved in yet. I need couches. I need X, Y, and Z. So, talk to us first, because the options are they're all over the place, and you guys should keep the money in your pocket.
That's what I always recommend. Time for a commercial, guys. If you want to reach out to a badass loan officer, call Chris or Lee. Do me a favor and take a screenshot of this. You're going to call us or you're going to email us. These are our cell phone numbers, so you can call us and text us too if you don't want to talk. If you're at work and you don't want your boss to hear you, you can do that. Or you can go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now, and get the process started. So if you want to work with Chris and Lee, give us a call. You want to work with Josh, give us a call. Josh also put his phone number in the chat box. Dizzy, this is a good question for you, man.
Okay,
Dizzy, how can you tell an area has a good rental market, strong rental market?
Yeah, so I mean, and nowadays we have so many different metrics that we use. I mean, just depending on are we close to a suburban area, and we can pull up all those numbers. If you want to go ahead and let me know, I mean, specifically for your area, go ahead and reach out to me. At the end of the day, the rental market is going to depend on, I mean, much like the sales market, it's going to depend on what things are going for, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, property condition. But for the most part, we can definitely come up with those metrics very quickly. So if you need any of that, let me know. I mean, I don't work in Winchester, Virginia, but I can definitely put you in touch with someone who does, if that's what you're thinking. 1,000%.
Yeah. Here's what's a big deal, guys. If you like us, if you like what we're saying, we can hook you up with people just like us. Same information, same data, same cool, smooth way of speaking, good looking. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, tell my wife that.
Mrs. Gomez, my husband's, mine, and my stepdaughter's, Odessa, Texas.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
We love Texas.
There you go.
I bet you one of those is a Dodge.
It's got to be,
It's a Ram, right?
Yeah.
One of those three is a Ram. And the other one is going to be a Tesla. There's a Tesla.
There's a Tesla in there for sure.
You're going to make that kind of money and not own a Tesla. I know that for sure. All right, dude, let's wrap this. Do me a favor. Tell them how they can reach you.
Guys, like I said, I mean, I'm on Instagram. I'm on all the platforms. Instagram at JoshuaCG_RE. My number I put in the chat, but I'll say it again, 626-252-8247. Like I said, I'm never going to try to get you to do anything. I've failed time and time again, and that's how I learn my lessons, and that's how I am providing value for you guys. So go ahead and get a hold of me that way, and let's stay in touch. Let's keep doing this. I mean, I'm all ears, and like I said, if I'm not in the market that you're in, I can point you to someone that's in that market.
Hell yeah. All right, Mike, reach out to us. I know you want to buy a duplex and a fourplex. We could definitely help you with that. Our phone number's in the bio. If you guys didn't catch Josh's data, but you want to get in touch with them, just reach out to me. Phone number's in the bio. You know where to DM us. So, nice to see you. Happy Monday. Talk to you soon.
Right on, guys. Hell yeah, dude. That was rad.